going to tell you a little bit of story about how Cameroon started. And back in 2001, we were asked to go on a team to Cameroon, and we didn't even know where it was, and we've never even heard about this country before.
When Tom first came and told me that we were going to a place called Cameroon, I was like, where in the world is that? And he said, it's West Africa. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I want to go there. I mean, the only thing I'd ever heard about Africa was that you get malaria and you die. And so I was a little nervous.
So we went to Cameroon, and God provided the money for our youngest son to go. And the missionary told us, well, come back to Cameroon and run a boot camp here. And of course, over the course of the summer team, and we were talking and fell in love with people, and we said, well, why not? Let's try it.
We'd already been on staff for several years, and we never really expected to get involved in running boot camps, but when we got to Cameroon, we really fell in love with the people, with the culture. So many youth with nothing to do, causing trouble. So many people lost, so many orphans, so many widows, and we just talked together and said, you know, this place needs a boot camp. And so we presented it to our host missionary, and we sent an email off to Mr. Bland. And
so he gave us like 3 things I remember on the list that we had to have. We had to get land for free. We can get land and get incorporated, and also that we would do it for 5 years. And we just looked at this email and we go, what? we were kind of excited, but we also were kind of like, okay, Lord, I was praying this prayer of Jabez that expand my territory, do something different.
Tom had been reading out of a book called The Prayer of Jabez. And it was a very popular book, and it was released in the year 2000. And it was based off of 1 Chronicles 4:10. It talks about, oh Lord, that you would bless me indeed, and that you would enlarge my territory, that you would lead me from evil, and that I might not cause pain. And it's just a verse about a man named Jabez in the middle of the book of Chronicles that kind of seems out of place, but wow.
Okay, today was a good day. I've kind of vowed to be a behind the scene person, especially at boot camp, and do the things like audio visual, and of course I'm Mr. OC.
And I asked him, you know, honey, why are you praying this? And he said, wouldn't it be neat to let the Lord expand our territory and be doing things that are outside of our gifts and talents, and that we would know that God is the one really at work. And so we prayed about it, and we felt that we had to go from the Lord, and we said, yeah, we're going to do this. And Tom went back in January, came back telling me he was a prince. That was pretty interesting.
They had a custom there, you know, in order to give land to somebody, they had to make you a prince. So they made me, the Prince of Songwa made me a prince of his village. They gave us land of 15 acres. I came back with a gift to the land of the deed, and with staff people, and we set up the boot camp there.
We went to the palace to visit because Tom, as a son and prince, had to go and make his visit. And so I'm thinking, you know, I'm his wife, so I must be a princess, and that's how they're going to introduce me. And when we got to the palace, they go, welcome Prince Tom of Songwa and his first wife, Linda. And I went, really? I'm just the first wife? And then I remember joking with the Fawn of Songwa, and have over the years, I'm the first wife, I'm the only wife. There was never going to be another one. And we still laugh and joke about that even years later. On our way there, our very first summer, we had a team of 4 team members. We got out to this property, there was nothing but just this old building and an outhouse, and that's all we had. And I was like, oh my word, where did you bring me to? And I think we had 68 or 70 kids that signed up for that very first summer. And they came in so happy and excited, and pretty soon we forgot about all of that and just got into the training. And actually on the commissioning night, Tom was deathly ill with malaria, high fever, couldn't even attend the very first commissioning service. And our pastor friend, who was a missionary there, was the one who led that very first service for us. There was a team on the property at the time. We called it the Valley of Blessings team. It was a work team to start work on our first building. And the lady leader and I were talking in the kitchen, and she said, now you know what it's like to be a Cameroonian, be an African, because you've experienced malaria. So now you know what it's like for us. And I said, well, I guess I never saw it from that perspective, but it's kind of neat to know that I share some of the things that you've experienced in life. And it just kind of helped us to connect more with the Cameroonian people.
We are in the home of Philemon's family, and they have prepared a wonderful meal for us.
Running a boot camp and seeing the young people and getting excited in the boot camp and the rally, I love to sing and dance and shout and then when they go out on the teams and they come back and they testify to see how God works in their lives and how God answers prayers, how many hundreds and hundreds of people come to Christ through their stories. And one boy stood up with tears coming down his eyes. I can still see this, and he said, I just didn't know God could speak to me, and his broken English, and English is not their first language, and God could speak to me. He could hear me. I could hear him.
And here we sit and listen to these testimonies, and when we heard the final tally at the end, that over 3,000 people had accepted Christ through the evangelism of these three teams, we were just blown away. And just wept that the Lord had answered that prayer of Jabez for us in our lives. He had expanded our territory. There was nothing that we had done to make that happen.
The Lord has opened the door for us to, after our summer teams, a lot of times either stay over and work with the staff, either in Cameroon or in the past couple of years, we've been going to other countries and spending extra, maybe a month or 3 weeks to each place. And it's really a blessing to work with the staff people overseas. They need help. They need encouragement. They need a help from just basic things, And we love being in Africa, and I think what I would love to do is I'd rather be in Africa than anywhere place else. But God works our lives in the day-to-day basis, and nowadays we have a base in Cameroon, running boot camp pretty much every year, and we have rescue units.
God taught us really early that anything that happened while we were overseas would be about Him and not about us. And it was so neat to watch that country develop over the years, to see our staff develop into these godly, missionary-minded people, to see them get wives and have children and just be raising them in the Lord, to see the Bible school and the amount of students we've graduated. We have some students that are full-time missionaries even in other countries. And so it's exciting for us to see what all God has done through the rescue units and through the motorcycle Sunday school program. And all of it has been the Lord and His glory and His honor, and just being obedient into saying, yeah, we'll make that 5-year commitment. But obviously that's turned into a 17-year commitment and a 17-year-old love story, because we are just absolutely in love with those people. So it's really kind of neat what will happen if you just give God the opportunity.